Good afternoon. Today I'm going to talk about the inscribed materials from the Harappan site of Karanpura, which is located in Rajasthan, the northern part of Rajasthan, on the dry bed of river Drishadwati, which is also known as Chautang River or the Chautang Nadi, Chatrang Nadi in the modern context. This Drishadwati river, it was a tributary of Saraswati, which is identified with the dry bed of Gagar Hakda river system, which flows in India and Pakistan, respectively. To begin with, I would like to acknowledge the Rao Bahadur K. Dixit Memorial Fund, Professor Jonathan Mark Kenoyer, University of Wisconsin-Madison, who has organized this session, and also Archaeological Survey of India and Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar. Karanpura is located here somewhere on the dry bed of river Drishadwati. The other important sites nearby are Rakhikadi, Farmana somewhere here, Mitatal here, and also Kalibangan, Banavali, Birdana very closely. So we can see that the location of Karanpura itself, it speaks of planning. Maybe there is a settlement pattern which is clearly discernible from the distribution of sites. And if we draw a 60-kilometer radius around Karanpura, we can see Rakhigadi and Kalibangan. They are equidistant from Karanpura. And also, if we take into account another site, Ropad or Rupnagar, we can see they are all equidistant to each other: Rupnagar, Rakhigadi, and Kalibangan, and a host of smaller sites like Banavali, Birdana, Kunal. They are all contributing much to the overall setting, maybe participating in the distribution of raw materials, agricultural produce, and also participating in the internal trade mechanism. So this could be the scenario during the third millennium BCE, and the excavations, it has brought to light broadly two cultural phases. The earliest belonging to the early Harappan phase, that is identified as the Soti Siswal, named after the two typesettes Soti and Siswal. Soti is downstream of Karanpura, and Siswal is upstream of Karanpura. And the earliest habitation, it starts around 3000 BCE, and towards 2500 BC, we see elements of Harappan culture emerge into this region, and we see many of the urban characteristics occupy this important settlement. And we also see based on the radiocarbon dates, the entire occupation at the sites ranges from 3000 BCE to 2000 BCE. The habitation for another 100 years might have been exist at this site, but it was completely obliterated by the modern agricultural practices. The villagers completely demolished nearly 1 meter deposits from the site. So it is obvious that there was another phase of occupation at the site. The only evidence is in the form of large pits that have been dug during this phase, which is found in the last period of occupation at Karanpura. So the earliest phase belongs to the Soti Siswal period of occupation. We have at least three structural phases here, mostly consisting of mud brick architecture in the ratio of 1:3, which is more common in this area. And it is characterized by the ceramics consisting of bichrome ware and the gray colored pottery, and this kind of low incised decorations on the surface of handled parts, and also this kind of decorations on the chocolate colored slip on pots, on various other ceramics in the reserved slip technique. I mean, it is not a reserved slip there, it's a reserved slip technique. When the chocolate color slip was wet, they have scratched and produced this design. Interestingly, during this phase, we have a considerable number of spindle holes, and they also have graffiti. I mean, this particular graffiti is on 5 spindle holes, all found together at the same floor level of an early Harappan house. Maybe it was the house of a weaver and involved in various kind of weaving activities. So the signs, it's a typical Harappan sign. It's a sign 91 in the Purpurus sign list. And interestingly, they have been inscribed in all these spindle holes, clearly indicating some sort of some ownership record or a mark of that particular weaver. So similar spindle holes, they're all found in different from different sites. This is from Harappa, courtesy Markino here. So who has kindly spared this slide? I mean, one can see the similar pattern from other sites also. And the spindle holes, they range in weight from 18 to 26 gram, the smaller weights, and the bigger one, only one example, it weighs around 48 grams. So these smaller ones would have been used for spinning the finer threads, and the larger one might have been used for thicker threads. So the graffiti, apart from the spindle holes, it is found extensively on various ceramics. So for 66 number of graffitis have been recorded from the ceramics, and if you look at it, many of them are typical Harappan signs, like this one, this biconical pattern. It's the sign 234. It is found either as a single example or combination of different patterns. Like here, two signs have been merged together. Here also two signs, and here it's a combination of several signs, and it could be like this, and it's proceeding like this. So we are seeing different patterns here, different combinations, and giving rise to a different complex pattern also. And interestingly, one sign you can see, this is again the same basic sign of bicone, but they have added a head and a tail. So this is very interesting. They are also visualizing the animals and incorporating in the graffiti also. So this is very interesting here. And other signs like a star pattern. This is a typical star pattern, and a combination of other triangles into another graffiti and found on a spindle hole. It becomes another identity marker. So we see spindle holes with various graffiti signs on them, clearly indicating some sort of an ownership record. And we have other Harappan signs found on the pottery, which is quite surprising, because these in the early Harappan phase, even though the Harappan script might not have been prevalent extensively, but still there have been various combinations and various attempts have been made to evolve certain regional signs. Maybe, I mean, further extensive research may indicate which signs originated from which region. But this is quite interesting. And if you look at the location from where these signs are found on the body portion, most of the signs have been found around 25 graffiti signs have been found inscribed on the body portion, followed by the shoulder and the interior of the rim. So this is quite interesting, and the bulk of the graffitis, they are found on the rim, shoulder, and the body portion. And the artifacts, they have form a substantial collection to around 8 artifacts with exterior inscribed graffiti. And coming to the signs represented by the graffiti, and most of them, they are abstract signs, and they don't fall under any sign list categories. But interestingly, we see the domination of sign 91 and sign 234, and closely following is 272. So these three signs, they come frequently, and we have seen the combination of this particular sign 234 in many of the ceramics. So coming to the Harappan phase, here we see many important characteristics emerge, including the typical Harappan ceramics, planning, the ratios, so switch over to 1:2:4 ratio, and also several urban features like script, the writing, the weights and measures. All those features come into existence during this phase. And interestingly, this phase also indicate evidence of a long distance trade. I mean, the grinding materials, particularly, they have been studied extensively by Randall. So this particular grinding stone, they came from Kalyana Hill, and they were traded far and wide, even up to Harappa. So if we look to the various raw material sources that have been identified by Randall, including this gray sandstone, which is found extensively near the Shivalik beds near Chandigarh on the Gagar River. So these gray sandstone, they are also quite hard, and they have been used for grinding by the Karanpura people. And if you look into the overall network, and wherever these stones have been found, a wide range of sites we know from where these kind of stones are found, and ultimately it reached Harappa. So Karanpura lies somewhere in between. I mean, they might have participated in this long distance trade, maybe facilitated the movement of the grinding stones from this region to ultimately bigger urban centers. Similarly, they might have been the end what do you say, usage people for this particular kind of grinding stone coming from this particular region, and the sites in between, they might have participated in the distribution network. And Karanpura is also very close to the other raw materials like the grinding stones, it's already pointed out, and also copper from the northern Rajasthan. So they might have participated in the overall internal trade network of the Harappans, and in this process, they might have also got some of the precious finished products like this agate cornelian jewelry. I mean, there is no evidence for manufacturing of agate cornelian jewelry from the site of Karanpura. So it's a clear indication that they might have got this jewelry through the trade mechanism only. And this kind of decorated cornelian beads, very small in size, and only single or double-eyed decoration, they have been found, along with one imitation instated also. The spindle whorls, they also continue during the Harappan phase, but now there is a range. There's a still smaller weight of around 10 gram, and a larger weight of around 58 grams. It is also found. So this is a clear indication of the diversity, and more number of spindle whorls have been found from the Harappan phase when compared to the early Harappan phase. And also, interestingly, we see different signs emerge on these spindle whorls. I mean, interestingly, these kind of combination of vertical strokes ultimately forming a star-like pattern also emerge. So these kind of additional signs also emerge on the spindle whorls, clearly showing that there could be this could be some sort of identification markers for the weaving community. And the graffiti, they are found in large numbers. Around 130 graffiti signs have been documented so far. They have been found in from various locations, from the tip of the rim to the interior of the rim, various combinations, and also new signs also come into existence. We have a wide range of painted as well as engraved graffiti signs. We have animals depicted in a stylized format. We also have a Harappan sign used to represent an animal. Similarly, we have also seen one similar design in the early Harappan phase. So there is a diversity, and there is a different combinations, and here again we can see the biconical pattern has been adopted to form a different pattern. Similar is the case here. So the basic sign has been used in combination for creating various other patterns, and here the triangles, they have been used for creating a composite sign. So these sort of additions we see along with the basic elements. This sort of signs also emerge, which is not present in the early Harappan phase. We also see the combination of the checker pattern with other complex patterns emanating from this checker pattern. A simple checker to this kind of combination patterns also emerge during this phase. we have these kind of stylized representations of what could be a cart or a carriage, a vehicle, a human with multiple arms, and painted ones we have already seen. So these also emerge during this phase. And looking into the location of the graffiti on the potsherds, we see the interior of the rim, they dominate now, followed by a body and the shoulder. So the same feature, even the early Harappan phase, we have seen the body, shoulder, and the interior of the rim dominate, and here too the same feature followed by the artifact, that is on the spindle holes, where we see many graffiti marks. And looking into the Harappan signs that have been indicated by this graffiti, we see the same pattern here: sign 91, sign 234, and followed by 265. This is emerging as a new pattern, and another 370. So these four signs, they dominate, but overall the graffiti that indistinct or with complex patterns, they dominate. Simple to complex patterns, they dominate, along with a whole range of vertical strokes. Vertical strokes also, they are found in large number, either single or in double or triple cases. So this is the overall distribution of various sign list, which is in the Harappan sign list compiled by Asko Parpola. And coming to the other mediums in which evidence for writing or graffiti, some sort of symbols have been represented, is one is a terracotta seal, in which we see the is a circle and a cross pattern with the dots. And two seals have been found. One seal as a two-lettered inscription. It has very close parallels with a four-letter inscription from Lothal. This is the impression, and you can see this is the seal, and the circle and this pattern, they are coming there, and the other two patterns, they are added here. And interestingly, instead of the offering stand or the manger, we have the people leaf, which is the sign 118. It is also found depicted in a few examples, like in the case of Kalibangan, and also one tablet from Mohenjo-daro, and one example from Chanudara. So this is one very interesting feature noticed on one of the seals. And the second seal from Karanpura has only one sign depicted, which also has close parallels with the Mohenjo-daro example. So overall, what we see is that the total number of 196 graffiti have been found, both inscribed on pottery as well as spindle holes. Distribution is 66 belongs to the Sothis wall, and 130 to the Harappan phase. A number of signs during the Sothis wall phase clearly indicate they are developed Harappan signs, and ultimately they are found repeated in the Harappan phase also. The signs 91 and 234, they are represented both in the Sothis wall and the Harappan phase, and later on during the Harappan phase, 265 and 370, they are added into the repertoire, and these four signs, they dominate the overall collection. And graffiti on spindle holes, they might indicate maybe guilds or ownership signs, because they are one particular floor level yielded 5 spindle holes with the same sign. So that gives some clue of this kind of ownership record maybe. And other interesting features are composite signs, stylized animal signs, basically using the Harappan sign, and also cart-like graffiti, and human with multiple hands. So this is another interesting feature. And finally, the two seals which have been found here, they have also, the pattern indicates close parallels with the other Harappan sites. And thank you very much for the patient hearing.